General chapter. Overview of test automation. See, in this chapter, first topic, drawbacks of manual testing. Drawbacks of manual testing. See, ours is interactive program. You need to answer my questions. Whenever you have any queries, you can ask me. And one more thing, you no need to write notes. I will send class notes as well as recorded session for review. Just listen and ask questions and answer my questions. First topic in this general chapter, drawbacks of manual testing. I think all of you familiar with manual testing concepts. You tell me, Gayatri, drawbacks of manual testing. Tell me one or two drawbacks of manual testing.
Yes, sir. Manual testing is time consuming.
Time consuming,
And
yes.
the script.
Yes, that is one drawback. Time consuming. Any other?
And it needs a lot of resources actually. Automation, when we develop scripts, actually we can use them, we can reuse them, we can repeat them. And suppose like if you have to do data-driven testing using manual testing, we have to drive multiple sets of data, and it takes a lot of time.
Okay, cool.
So that's
okay. You tell me. Can you tell me, Paramita Rai, drawbacks of manual testing? Gayatri told one or two drawbacks.
Load testing and load testing and performance testing is not possible in manual. Like it needs only the automation testing.
Any difference is there in between load testing and performance testing? You are telling load testing and performance testing. Is there any difference between load testing and performance testing?
Performance testing, it's like it's based on the security, like the
Not
speed
security.
and efficiency of the application.
Okay, it is not part of our syllabus. General. See, load testing, stress testing, endurance testing, spike testing, all are subsets of performance testing. Okay. See, okay, performance testing is impractical. Okay, that is one. Any other? Okay, Silpa. Gayatri told one or two drawbacks, and Paramita also told one drawback. Say yes or no, no problem.
Yeah, normally in manual testing, we do it like manually, it will take time as well in like when you, for the automation.
Okay, that concept she covered, Gayatri covered, time consuming. Okay, cool. All of you put mute, I will explain. See, first, manual testing requires more time. See, manual testing requires more time. Or if you want to reduce the time, you need to use more resources or more resources. Resources in the sense human resources as well as environmental resources. Human resources and environmental resources. Sometimes both. See, first major drawback, manual testing requires more time or more resources. Sometimes both time and resources. Next, all types of testing is impractical. For example, performance testing is not possible. Suppose if you want to test any functionality for 10,000 users, organizing 10,000 missions and 10,000 testers or users. Impractical. See, performance testing. It is one type of testing. Functional testing, another type. Security testing, usability testing. These are types of testing. See, performance testing is impractical. Here I will write important points only, but in your class notes I will send fair notes. Okay, impractical. Performance testing is impractical. Next, one more thing, less accuracy. Less accuracy. Just a minute. Why? Human users may make mistakes. For example, in terms of complex calculations, human users may make mistakes. If it is automation, if you provide correct logic, tool can provide correct output every time. Tool is software. If you provide correct logic, tool can provide correct output every time. But human users may make mistakes. Next, executing same tests again and again, time taking process as well as tedious. Any other Gaikwad? Kailash?
Sir, efficiency.
Pardon?
Hello.
Efficiency. Efficiency means we covered now. Less accuracy means efficiency missing. Any other?
Report generating is very.
Pardon?
Report is not generated properly.
Not relevant. Okay. See. Not suitable for large scale projects and time bounded projects. Why? See, manual testing takes more time. If it is time bounded project, suppose if you want to complete in 6 months or 9 months, it is not suitable. Next, batch testing is difficult. Batch testing is possible, but for every test case execution, user interaction is mandatory. What is batch testing? Gayatri, what is batch testing?
Executing a series of tests with
yes, executing series of tests. Series of tests. Forget about output and other things. Executing series of tests is called batch testing. Batch testing is possible, but time-taking process. Why? For every test case execution, human user interaction means tester interaction is mandatory. If it is automation, you can create test batches. Tool can execute test batches without human user interaction. Next, one important thing, manual test case scope is very limited. See, manual test case scope is limited. Why? Say, human user can concentrate on 1 or 2 verification points at a time. We cannot concentrate on 20-30 verification points at a time. If it is automation, you can insert 20, 30, 50 verification points, conditional statements, loop statements. Tool can concentrate. Why? Tool is software. Tool can concentrate on multiple verification points, but user cannot concentrate on multiple verification points. See, final conclusion, manual test case scope is very limited. Generally, we verify 1 or 2 verification points only in one test case. If it is automated test, you can insert multiple verification points. And one more point, suppose we have 1,000 test cases in our project. 1,000 automated tests are not required. Using 400 or 500 automated tests, you can cover 1,000 manual test cases. Got this point, Silpa? Any confusion?
No, I got it.
Okay. Next, comparing large amount of data is impractical. See, comparing large amount of data is impractical. For example, I want to compare two databases, each database having 20,000 records. Comparing 20,000 records manually, it is impractical. If it is automation, tool can, just a minute, tool can compare. Suppose I have one database, another data source is Excel. In Excel, we have 1,000 records. I want to compare these 1,000 records with database data. Yes, tool can concentrate. Tool can compare, but human users can't compare large amount of data. Understand this point, Kailash? Comparing large amount of data is impractical now.
Got it, sir.
Okay. Next, checking relevance of search operations is difficult. Checking relevance of search operations is difficult. See, these are the major drawbacks of manual testing. Just before moving to next topic, tell me, Paramita, what are the drawbacks of manual testing?
Sir, first point is that it's time consuming and resource. It needs a more resource. And batch testing, it's also time taking
Yes.
like process. And it's being less accuracy.
Yes, less
human
accuracy. Why human users may make mistake in terms of complex calculations? Okay, less
Yes.
accuracy. Okay.
Yeah. And like large amount of data, that is so impractical.
Comparing large amount of data. See, for example, comparing two databases having thousands of records, that is impractical, time taking and less accuracy. If it is tool is software, it can compare perfectly. Next.
Next is manual test cases, the scope is very limited.
Why?
Why? Because test case scope means manual tester, like they cannot test like they cannot test cases at same time, like thousands of test cases.
No. Gayatri, you continue. Manual test case scope is limited. Why?
Yes, sir. It's we cannot actually concentrate on more verification points at the same
Yes,
time.
yes.
We might using
Yes. In manual testing, human user cannot concentrate on multiple verification points at a time. If it is automation, if it is automated test, you can insert multiple verification points. Tool can concentrate. Continue, Gayatri.
Yes, sir. And checking relevance of search operations is difficult.
Okay.
And this is actually not suitable for this time-bounded projects
Time-bounded
and
projects.
large-scale projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, na Shilpa, shall we move to next topic?
Yes.
Okay. If you have any query, ask me. See, second topic in this chapter, advantages of test automation. Advantages of test automation. Tell me, Kailash, one or two advantages of test automation. If you don't know, leave it, no problem. I will explain. If you have any points, tell me. Share.
Yes, we can generate report quickly
Ah.
and send it to client as soon as possible.
Okay. Paramita, advantages of test automation.
It can perform the test like several test cases at same time.
Several test cases same time.
No, sorry. Testing perform the same operation each time.
Okay.
And it's very faster than the manual testing process.
Okay. See, fast. What is fast?
Fast means like when we are like when you're running, like executing the test cases.
Yes.
Automation.
See, tools can execute tests quickly than human users. See, in software testing, two important tasks. First one is test design. Next, test execution. Two important tasks in software testing: test design and test execution. In case of test design, tools are not faster. Why? For test design, user interaction is mandatory. Tool provides necessary interface. Using tool features and programming features, you need to design tests. So in case of test design, tools are not faster. Sometimes automated test design takes more time than manual test case design. But in case of test execution, tools are faster. Why? Without human user interaction, tool can execute tests quickly. Final conclusion, test design. Most of the time test design is one-time activity, but test execution multiple times. Regression testing multiple times. So once you design tests, tool can execute tests multiple times quickly. See, final conclusion, in test execution, we can save the time. What about test design, Gayatri? What about test design?
Test design actually it takes more time than manual testing. Sometimes it might take more time than manual testing.
Yes.
It's
for test design, user interaction is mandatory, na?
Yes, it is definitely required.
For test execution?
Without user interaction, tool itself can perform that.
Yes. See, for test execution, user interaction optional. Tool can execute tests quickly. Final conclusion, test design one-time activity, test execution multiple times. So definitely we can save the time. See, this is one of the major advantage of test automation. Next, Kailash, any other? Reliable. See, tools are more reliable than human users. Why? If we provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. So tools are reliable. Tool is software. Next, important one, repeatable. What is repeatable? Executing same tests using multiple sets of test data. Don't confuse. Repeatable is different, reusable is different. Repeatable, executing, tell me Gayatri, repeatable.
Yes, sir. Repeatable is executing same tests using multiple sets of test data.
Reusable?
Reusable using the same script. Suppose like if you have to perform regression testing on multiple builds, actually we can use the same scripts.
We can reuse tests on different versions of software. That is reusable. Okay na? Observe Silpa, repeatable, reusable. What is the difference?
Repeatable, we can use, execute the same tests multiple times. But for the reusable, we can, we can repeat the softwares multiple times.
Confusing. Paramita? Observe.
Repeatable, like the same execution of test cases at the same, like every time, same test case can execute.
You forgot.
And reusable, like
you forgot the core concept. Executing same tests using multiple sets of test data. Why executing multiple tests with same test data? Multiple sets of test data. Observe. Executing tests using multiple sets of test data. Here software version same. Suppose version 1, build version 1. Test is login. Executing login 20 times on same version. Why 20 times? Use multiple sets of test data. User ID 1, password 1. User ID 2, password 2. User ID 3, password 3. See, executing tests using multiple sets of test data. Suppose for one input my application is responding fine. Why we need to test with multiple sets of test data, Gayatri? Getting my point?
Yes, sir. I'm in the process of unmuting that. And yeah, that's actually, just to test that, how the application behaves with the other sets of test data, positive and negative testing.
Yes. See, executing tests using multiple sets of test data. The term is data-driven testing. Data-driven testing. Suppose for one input, my application is responding fine. For example, login functionality is there. User ID 1, password 1. I used user ID 1 and password 1 as test data. Login functionality working fine. Then why I need to test with multiple sets of user IDs and passwords? The primary purpose of data-driven testing is positive and negative testing. Suppose for valid inputs, my application is responding fine. What about handling invalid inputs? It has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. See, for positive and negative testing, we use multiple sets of test data. That is the primary purpose of data-driven testing. Next, reusable. What is reusable? See, we can reuse our tests and components, reusable components, functions, etc. We can reuse our tests on different versions of software. See, reuse tests and components on different versions of software. See, a regression tests and one more also, sanity tests. Sanity tests, regression tests. Sanity tests, verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. These tests can be executed on every version of software. Regression tests also we execute on multiple versions, different versions of software, but regression tests dynamic, sanity tests constant. Most of the time sanity tests fixed, regression tests dynamic, depends on complexity of the application and strength of the development team. Observe Kailash, did you find the difference between repeatable and reusable? Any confusion?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Silpa,
Can you please tell about the regression and the sanity once again?
sanity testing. First of all, tell me what is sanity testing? What is sanity testing? Manual testing concept.
No idea.
No idea. Actually, it is not part of our syllabus. Okay. Your system providing echo. You try to adjust your voice device. Echo coming. Okay. You tell me, Gayatri, what is sanity test? Sanity tests?
It's actually, I mean, before performing any types of test, to check if the build is acceptable.
Yes. First of all, after receiving the build, we need to check whether the build is acceptable or not. For example, login is sanity test. Suppose login is not working, then you cannot test other functionalities. Say sanity testing, build acceptance testing, or build verification testing, verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. Regression tests different. Say after executing all possible test cases, if you find any mismatches, means deviation from expected, we send defects. After fixing the defects, we need to perform regression testing. Regression also, for example, observe Silpa, manual testing concept. Test case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suppose we are executing these test cases on first build. Test case 1 passed, 2 passed, 3 passed, 4 failed, 5 passed. See, after receiving modified build, we need to execute fourth test case. Why? fourth test case failed on first build. But apart from fourth test case, we need to execute 3 and 5 also. Why? Suppose any dependencies are there, we need to check last time passed cases also. Due to modifications, any side impacts introduced or not, we need to check. See, executing last time passed cases, that is regression testing. Executing last time failed cases, that is retesting. The full form is re and regression testing. Find the difference between sanity testing and regression testing. Silpa,
Yes, sir.
tell me what is sanity testing?
Sanity testing is like we'll verify the build is accepted or not. Like only one time we'll be giving it.
No. See,
For the
observe.
regression one, it is a dynamic one. We'll find out the defects.
Observe. See, still you are in confusion.
Hello?
Observe. Sanity testing. Put mute. See, sanity test cases are fixed. We need to execute those cases on every version of software. Suppose login is sanity test. For every version of software, we need to execute login. Why? First time on first version login executed. What about second version? What about third version? We need to execute sanity test cases on every version. Sanity test cases are fixed. Build acceptance testing. But regression testing dynamic depends on defects. Suppose 100 defects raised. We selected 200 or 300 regression tests. On third build, fourth build, they may reduce. But sanity test cases fixed. Suppose we selected 50 sanity test cases in our project. Those 50 cases are fixed for every version. But regression not fixed. Suppose on second build, we executed 300 regression tests. Third build 200. Fourth build 150. Fifth build 120. Like that. Okay, na Silpa? Hello?
Hello? Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm clear now.
Actually, it is manual testing concept. You try to refer that one. Sanity testing.
Yeah. Actually, I'm in the starting level only. I'm just following the manual.
Okay. See, final conclusion. Repeatable is different. Reusable is different. Next. Just a minute. See, first one, what we discussed. Fast, reliable, repeatable, reusable. Next, programmable. Say, if it is manual testing, just documentation and execution. Documenting test cases and executing test cases. No programming in manual testing. No programming logic. Documentation and reasoning. Execution time, reasoning required. If it is automation, every automation tool supports programming logic. We can insert multiple verification points and we can use all programming features, all supporting programming features in our test cases. For example, in manual test case, just we can document the test case and executing the test case manually. If it is automation, you can insert conditional statements, loop statements, you can use variables, operators, you can use reusable components, example functions. You can use, if it is object oriented programming or object based programming, you can use methods. See, we can use all programming features in automated test cases, automated tests. But in manual test case, no programming. Okay, na Gayatri? What is the advantage of programming?
So yeah, it's actually we can insert lot of automate like programming features like conditional statements, loop statements, functions, methods, etc.
Yes, yes. See, we can insert multiple verification points and we can reuse components, functions like. In case if it is manual testing, no programming. Next, comprehensive. Comprehensive means completeness. See, automation tools support batch testing. We can create test batches without user interaction. Tools can execute series of tests, means test batches easily. See, comprehensive. Here advantage is batch testing. In case of manual testing, for each and every test case execution, user interaction is mandatory. If it is test automation, just create test batches. Tool can execute test batches without user interaction. See, these are the important advantages of automation. Tell me, Kailash, what are the just headlines? What are the advantages of test automation?
So text execution is very fast using automation tool. Second is reusability is there.
Yes, we can reuse tests and components on different versions of software. Okay.
Yes,
next.
Regression testing is there. Regression testing is there. Reusability is there. Programmable and comprehensive.
We can use all programming features in our tests. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that we can optimize our tests. Okay. Next.
Last one is a comprehensive batch testing.
Pardon?
Comprehensive. Using batch testing we can use.
Yes, batch testing is possible. Without user interaction, tool can execute series of tests easily. Any other? Okay. Okay. See, just headlines. Fast. Tools are faster in test execution. Okay. Next. Reliable. If we provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. Next, repeatable. We can execute same tests using multiple sets of test data. Purpose, data-driven testing, positive and negative testing. If it is manual testing, for every iteration, user interaction is required. If it is automation, you can use any resource, Excel file or database file, then tool can execute multiple times. Repeatable, executing tests using multiple sets of test data. Next, reusable, reusing tests and components on different versions of software. Example, sanity tests, regression tests. Next, programmable. We can use programming features in our tests so that we can optimize the tests. If it is manual testing, no programming. Next, comprehensive. Automation tools support batch testing. We can create test batches. Tools can execute test batches without human user interaction. See, these are the advantages of test automation: fast, reliable, repeatable, reusable, programmable, and comprehensive. Okay, now Silpa, shall we move to next topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, drawbacks of test automation. Drawbacks. See, third point, third topic in this chapter. Third topic. Just a minute. This is second topic. This is first topic. First topic, drawbacks of manual testing. Second topic, advantage of test automation. Next, drawbacks or disadvantages. Drawbacks of test automation. Paramita, contribute.
First thing that comes to my mind is that because it's programmable, so there's kind of like errors in logic or codes.
Yes, programming knowledge is required. Okay, that is see, if we don't use tools in proper manner, we can't get desired benefits. See, lack of knowledge is one of drawback. If you don't use tools in proper way, you cannot get desired benefits. Lack of knowledge. If it is manual testing, just thinking and reasoning, documentation and execution. But in case of automation, programming required. Lack of knowledge is one of drawback. If we don't use tools in proper way, you cannot get desired benefits. Continue, Paramita. Any other? Okay. Silpa, you contribute. Drawbacks of test automation. Okay, cool. Kailash. Oh, okay. Gayatri.
Yes, sir. It is not suitable for short-term projects, sir. So, because test design itself takes a lot of time.
At initial stage, more efforts required. See, already I told, for test design, user interaction is mandatory. More efforts required. More efforts are required at initial stage. So it is not suitable for short-term projects, small projects. Next, 100% test automation is impractical. Generally, we try to automate maximum test scenarios, not all test scenarios. See, for some test cases, user observation is required. So 100% test automation is not possible. Generally, we try to automate maximum tests, maximum test cases. Next, continue, Gayatri. Any other?
All types of testing cannot be automated. Suppose usability testing, look and feel of the.
Yes, all types of testing. All types of testing is not possible. Example, usability testing. Only human user can judge look and feel aspects. See, usability testing. functional testing is possible, performance testing is possible, but usability testing impractical. Why? Tools can't judge. Next, Paramita, any other?
No, sir.
Okay, cool.
I don't know anything such.
Cool. One more thing, technical issue, debugging issues. What is debugging? It is development term. We use programming, so we need to familiar with this development term. It is not testing term. Debugging. What is debugging? Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Sometimes automated tests won't show any errors and won't provide correct output. Just a minute. I will explain 3 scenarios. First scenario, test is showing error. Test case is showing error. If test case shows error, definitely we cannot expect correct output. First correct the error, then you can get correct output. That is first scenario. Test case is showing errors. Correct the errors and execute. Second scenario, test case not showing any errors and providing correct output. If test case providing correct output, no issue. Next, third scenario, typical scenario, test case is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. Not showing any errors, not providing correct output. That time locating the type of errors is difficult. When we get the type of errors, suppose at one point of time we have to use x equal to a plus b. This is desired formula as per our test requirement. See, mistakenly if we use multiplication operator instead of addition operator, is it syntax error? No. Is it runtime error? No. It is human error. In order to locate this type of human errors, debugging is required. Sometimes we may not locate errors properly. See, debugging issues. Okay, na Paramita, just one small question. When debugging is required?
If we found any bugs or error in the application,
Don't use bug term. In development, in software development, no bug term. Bug term is testing term. In software development, error or mistake. See, terminology varies from one environment to another. If it is development environment, no bug, no defect, error.
Error.
When we go for debugging in our automation,
If we found like some errors or mistakes, like suppose there's a suppose x equals to a plus b, or there's a logic.
If we found errors, then no need to debug. Just correct the errors.
Okay.
See, observe. When question is when debugging is required. Whenever test case is not showing any errors and not providing correct output, debugging is required. Debugging, executing test case step by step. Got the point, Silpa? When debugging is required?
Yeah, when it is not showing any errors, but it's not giving a proper output.
Good.
So then that time we will be debugging like step-by-step process.
Yes, okay. Debugging. Okay, debugging issues. Sometimes debugging also difficult. Next, one more thing, one more drawback of test automation. Tools may have their own defects, so sometimes we may not get desired benefits. See, tool also software. Tool may have some defects, their own defects. In QTP, UFT, formerly QTP. In QTP also some defects are there. See, tools may have their own defects. So we may not get desired benefits. Anything else, Gayatri?
Not able to recollect anything more.
Okay, cool. See, one more important thing, important drawback of test automation, environment limitations. Environment limitations. For example, take UFT, Unified Functional Testing, formerly QTP. If you want to test Java application, Java add-in required. If you want to test SAP application, SAP add-in required. Suppose I want to test Informatica application, no add-in available. Suppose I want to test one application on Unix environment, UFT, formerly QTP. UFT doesn't support Unix operating environment. UFT supports Windows operating environment only. If the application deployed on Windows, then you can use UFT tool. If application deployed on Unix or Unix flavors like Linux, Mac, etc., we cannot use UFT tool. That is environment limitation. For example, take Selenium. Selenium also having environment limitations. Suppose if you want to test desktop applications, one-tier applications, we cannot test. Selenium only for web-based applications. We cannot test desktop or one-tier applications. If it is manual testing, okay, manual testing takes more time, but no environment limitations. Irrespective of the technology, you can apply manual testing methodologies. For manual testing, no environment limitations. If it is automation, environment limitations are there. At this point, Silpa, any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. What is the, tell me one environment limitation for UFT, formerly QTP?
Selenium.
I am asking UFT. Why I am comparing with UFT? UFT and Selenium both are competitors in functional test automation. So you need to familiar with UFT also. Okay. Tell me, what is the environment limitation of UFT tool?
The Windows operating environment.
UFT doesn't support Unix operating environment.
Unix, Linux, yeah, Unix,
Unix
Linux.
and Unix flavors like Linux, Solaris, and Mac, etc. What is the drawback? What is the environment limitation of Selenium tool?
Desktop one-tier.
Selenium doesn't support desktop applications, or you can say Windows-based applications. Selenium supports only web-based applications. Concentrate. Okay, na Parmita? Environment limitations?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, cool.
UFT like
Continue.
no, that like Selenium support only the web-based application and not desktop.
Desktop
Only
applications.
manual testing you can do that, and
Yes.
UFT it doesn't. It's limited for like it's not a like it doesn't operate like Unix or Linux or Mac operator
Say
like this.
UFT. UFT can automate desktop and web-based applications, but UFT doesn't support Unix operating environment. Selenium supports Windows, Unix operating environments, but it doesn't support desktop applications. If it is manual testing, irrespective of the environment, you can test any application. Okay, na Gayatri. Now list out
Yes,
all
sir.
major drawbacks
Yes, sir.
of test automation. List out all major drawbacks.
Yes, sir. Initially, the programming knowledge is very much required for performing test automation, and at initial stage, more efforts are required, and it is not suitable for short-term projects. And 100% test automation is highly impractical. And some types of testing is not possible using any automation tool like usability testing. And debugging issues, I mean, like a bit.
Yes,
It's
sometimes
actually it's one of the
locating
drawbacks.
errors also difficult.
Right, sir. Right. And finally, I mean, tools may have their own defects because they are also softwares. So because of that, we might not get the reliable output. I mean, like the required output. And there are a lot of
desired benefits. Okay.
desired benefits. Right, yeah. And environmental limitations are there. Like suppose I mean UFT cannot be used for Unix operating system. I mean we cannot automate on Unix operating system applications developed on that. And Selenium we cannot actually automate this desktop or one-time applications. Only we can we can only test web applications,
Web-based applications. Okay. Cool.
That's all.
See, so far we completed 3 topics in this first chapter. Drawbacks of manual testing, advantage of test automation, next drawbacks of test automation, next 4th one, types of test tools, general topic, types of test tools. Say, I will provide 2 different classifications. Tools are same. I will cover test tools in 2 different angles. First angle, business classification. Business classification. Second angle, technical classification. Tools are same, but I am going to cover tools in 2 different angles. Technical classification. First, business classification. See here, tools we can segregate into 3 categories. First category, vendor tools. Vendor tools. What is vendor tool, Aarti? What is vendor tool? Aarti, can you hear me? Aarti?
Yes, sir, now, yeah. I can hear you, sir. Sorry, it was a little delay.
Cool.
Company it is a complete developed tool and license required, and they provide the technical support by the vendor.
Okay. See,
like UFT.
commercial tools. Commercial tools. Companies develop tools for commercial use. License is required for usage as well as technical support. License is required. Companies develop tools for commercial use. Example, HP, vendor HP. HP has some suite of test tools. Paramita Rai, can you tell me HP suite of test tools? Just a general awareness. Suite of test tools.
QTP?
QTP. Now QTP retired. See, software retirement also a real-time term. QTP retired. UFT launched with advanced features. QTP. New name UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Formerly QTP, Quick Test Professional. Next, HP.
HP Quality Center QC.
Yes. Now Quality Center new name. What is the new name of Quality Center?
ALM.
Application Lifecycle Management. Next, this is Test Management Solution. Next,
TFS. Text Functional Management. TFS.
Important one, Load Runner.
Okay, Load Runner.
Load Runner, ALM, etc. Next, IBM also having some suite of test tools. IBM suite, Gayatri, IBM suite of test tools. All these are vendor tools.
Rational tools.
Rational tool.
Rational functional tester.
Yes.
Rational functional tester.
RFT, rational functional test. Rational functional tester.
Clear case.
Rational performance tester. Rational QA director, etc. Next,
Rational requisite pro.
Micro Focus. Earlier Borland, Silk Test, Silk Performer, etc. See, these are the vendor tools. Commercial use. Anybody can purchase the license and get technical support. Next, in this first category, business classification, Kailash, open source tools. Open source. What is open source? Kailash, can you hear me? Kailash. Okay. Silpa, open source. What is open source software? No idea. You didn't heard this word, this term, open source? See, if you want to learn Selenium, Selenium not only sufficient, you need to learn some other things also. General awareness also required. What is open source? Our Selenium also open source tool, isn't it? Our Selenium also open source category. For example, UFT, that is vendor tool. Okay, footnote I will explain. Have any idea, Paramita? Open source? What is open source software?
Selenium ID, because it doesn't need any license to purchase, and I think that is only the cause open source. Selenium ID.
I am not asking Selenium or any other. What is open source software? For example, MySQL open source, PHP open source, Java open source, Eclipse open source, Selenium open source, JMeter open source, Bugzilla open source. What is open source software? Okay. Gayatri, what is open source software?
Code is available free. That free code is available. We can download and we can customize as per our application requirements. We can customize the code actually.
Okay, see.
And,
Say, source code is available on net. Anybody can download and use. Source code available on net. Anybody can download and use. If you have programming knowledge, you can modify that. You can update the code also. See, so many open source software available in the industry. For example, Java is open source, MySQL is open source, PHP, Eclipse, Selenium, JMeter, Bugzilla, etc. Our testing point of view, what are the tools? Selenium is open source tool. Next, JMeter. JMeter is open source. Next, Bugzilla, etc. Next, another category, in-house tools. In-house tools. See, these are private tools. See, companies develop, software companies develop their own tools for internal use, not for commercial use, private use. See, tools names also local. For example, IBM developed so many tools for internal use. Oracle Corporation developed so many tools for internal use. Microsoft Corporation developed so many tools for internal use. These are private tools for internal use. Okay. See these three. Okay. In another classification, you can segregate tools. Technical classification. Here, functional. See, already I told tools are same, but I'm going to cover tools in two different angles. First one, business classification. This one is technical classification. Functional and regression test tools. Example. Tell me, Silpa, example. Here you can use vendor tool or open source, any. Functional testing category.
In that, like open source.
Gayatri, functional testing category.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's UFT, RFT, silk test, Selenium. These are all functions.
Yes, UFT, RFT.
Oh,
Next, Selenium, silk test, test complete, test partner, etc. Try to follow Silpa. You need to improve so many concepts. Next,
yes.
performance. Continue, Paramita. Performance test tools.
Load runner.
Load runner. RPT, rational performance tester. Next, silk performer. Next, JMeter. This is open source, etc. Next, test management tools. Aarti, test management tools.
ALM,
ALM, Jira, etc. Next, only for defect management. See, Bugzilla, issue tracker, PR tracker, etc. Say defect management tools support only defect management. Test management tools supports requirements management, test design, test execution, and defect management. Final conclusion, defect management is part of test management. Say, our training programming point of view, these 4 classifications enough. Another category is also there, requirement management tools, security test tools, etc. But important categories, these 4 only. Functional and regression test tools, performance test tools, next test management tools, and only defect management tools. Kailash, you are not responding. Can you hear me, Kailash? Kailash, can you hear me? Otherwise, you disconnect and connect again. We are not hearing you. Just at least type. Chat option is there, not type. Can you hear me or not? Okay. Next, before the break, last topic in this general chapter. Okay, Kailash. Last, our Selenium primary purpose is functional test automation. So we need to familiar with functional testing. See, fifth topic in this chapter, overview of functional testing. Overview of functional testing. Functional testing, Shilpa, manual testing concept. What is functional testing? I am not asking definition. Just I will provide 4 options and choose. What is functional testing? Is it SDLC model or test level or test type or test design technique? What is functional testing?
Test level.
Test level. Test levels means unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. These are test levels. Functional testing is not test level.
Test type.
Test type, yes. Functional testing is test type. Okay. Next, what is functional testing? This time definition. Verifying a component's or system's functionality with respect to functional requirements. Verifying a component's or system's functionality with respect to functional requirements. Okay, that is general. What we test in this area of testing? What is functional testing, Aarti? Tell me the definition.
Verifying a component or a system's functionality irrespective to the requirement.
With respect to functional requirements.
Functional requirement.
See, verifying a component's or system's functionality with respect to functional requirements. Final conclusion, we can apply functional testing on individual components as well as whole system. Okay, generally unit testing can be conducted by developers, but functional testing is there in unit testing level and integration testing level, system testing level, and all levels of testing. Okay, verifying a component or system's functionality with respect to functional requirements is called functional testing. Next, that is general. What we test in this area of testing? What we test? Coverage of functional testing. Tell me, Paramita, what we test in this area of testing? Definition, okay. Generally, what we test in this area? In this area of testing?
Like the features of the applications or the functions of the applications.
Features of the applications, functions of the applications.
Like login functionality, or the fund transfer, or like account summary.
Okay.
So these are kind of the features of the main features of an application.
Okay. 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 See, see, you know what is functional testing, but structure required. I will explain functional testing in a structured manner. Try to follow. First, here coverages of functional testing. Input domain coverage. Input domain coverage. What is input domain coverage? Verifying whether the system, here system means application under test. Say, already I told, terminology varies from one level to another. General meaning, in general, system means computer hardware and software. Computer hardware and software is called system. But in our testing, system means application under test. System testing is there, level of testing. In our terminology, system means application under test. Okay. What is input domain coverage? Verifying whether the system is providing, verifying whether the system is accepting valid inputs or not and preventing invalid inputs or not. See, generally in desktop applications or web-based applications, we fill forms, input, we enter input. For login also we enter input, user ID, password. Input domain coverage required. See, what is input domain coverage? Verifying whether the system means AUT, application under test. Verifying whether the system is accepting, verifying whether the system is accepting valid inputs or not. Next, preventing invalid inputs or not. See, it has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. For example, phone number object is there. Phone number or mobile number object is there. It, as per requirements, it has to accept 10-digit numeric values. We have to check whether that object is accepting only numeric 10-digit values or not. Suppose user ID user ID field is there. It has to accept 4 to 8 characters long alphabets. You have to check. Input domain coverage. Verifying whether the system is accepting valid inputs or not and preventing invalid inputs or not. See, primarily data has 3 factors. Data factors. One is type of the data. Type of the data. See, in general classification, alphabets, numeric, alphanumeric, special characters. This is general classification. Technical classification, type of data, character type, string type, integer type, double type, etc. See, type of the data, that is one data factor. Next, size of the data. Suppose phone number field has to accept 10-digit numeric values. 10-digit is size, numeric is type. Next, one more factor also there. Can you tell me, Paramita? Type of the data, size of the data, any other? Say yes or no. Okay, cool. No issue.
No, sir.
Okay.
I think I know only the two types, the type and size.
Okay. Can you tell me, Gayatri, type of the data, size of the data?
Okay. Not very sure, sir.
Okay, cool. Range of the data. These 3 important. What is the range of the data? For example, in banking application, 1 to 45 days, 5% interest. 46 days to 180 days, 6% interest. 1 year to 2 years, 2 years to 3 years, 3 years to 5 years. What is that one? Range of the data. For example, insurance applications, 25 to 30 years, premium 5,000 for 1 lakh policy. 30 to 35 years, 10,000. 35 to 40 years, 20,000. Example. That is a range of the data. Did you understand this concept, Paramita? Range of the data?
Yes, sir.
See, actually, exhaustive testing is impractical in manual testing. That is one drawback of manual testing. Exhaustive testing is impractical. What is exhaustive testing? Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions. That's why we reduce the input domain. We reduce the input size. How to reduce? Using test design techniques. Equivalent classes, boundary value analysis, decision tables. Using test design techniques in manual testing, using test design techniques, we reduce the input. Why we need to reduce the input? Exhaustive testing is impractical. Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions is impractical. But in automation, we no need to reduce the input. Why? Tool is software. We can use programming logic, use conditional and loop statements. Tool can check all possible inputs and preconditions. Okay. Now you only focus on input domain coverage. Tell me, Silpa, what is input domain coverage? What is input domain coverage?
It should accept the valid input data.
Verifying.
And also the invalid one.
See, less clarity. Tell me the complete sentence.
Sorry, sir.
Tell me once again.
It should accept the invalid, verifying the system, whether the system is accepting the valid input.
Any
And
clarity?
also the preventing the invalid input or not.
See, increase the clarity. Okay. Next time.
System means like
Okay. Cool. Aarti, tell me, what is input domain coverage?
Verifying whether the system means under application under the test, accepting the valid inputs or not, and preventing the invalid inputs or not.
Okay. Verifying whether the system is accepting valid inputs or not and preventing invalid inputs or not. Okay. We have 3 data factors. Silpa, what are the 3 data factors?
3 data factors like the type of data, the size of the data, and the range of the data.
Good. You try to adjust your voice device. Echo coming. Only from your side. Okay, cool. Output
Type
domain.
of the data means it's like a character types, string types.
Okay. No need to elaborate. Output domain coverage. See, what is output domain coverage? Output means input plus process. Input plus process equal to output. Suppose we are entering 3 and 5 as input. Process is addition. Output is 8. Input plus process equal to output. What is output domain coverage? Verifying whether the system is providing correct output or not based on input and process. See, verifying whether the system, you know what is system? System is providing correct output or not. Verifying whether the system is providing correct output or not as per input and process. Next, database testing. And one more thing, database testing is not only part of functional testing. Database testing is one of the subset of functional testing, but it is not only part of functional testing, also part of performance testing. Tell me, Parmita, what we test in this area of testing?
Suppose when the user is input they are entering data into the front end. So in this part of testing, we'll check whether the data is properly stored in the end user, like in the database or not.
Okay, see.
By writing the queries.
Yes. See, verifying the data integrity. Verifying the data integrity. What is data integrity? Data is correctly storing or not, and in correct places storing or not. For example, we are entering data, example, student marks, maths, physics, chemistry. See, we entered 3 subjects marks, maths, physics, chemistry. 3 subjects marks are entering or not? Okay, entered. but mass marks entered in physics cell, physics marks entered in chemistry cell, chemistry marks entered in mass cell. That is not integrity. See, correctly storing and storing in correct places. See, we have to verify the data integrity. Okay, for that we can use SQL queries. That is different. How to conduct database testing is different. But now we are learning what is database testing. Verifying the data integrity. This is one kind of database testing. Next, any other Selpa have any idea? Generally, what we test in this area of testing? No idea? Okay, cool. Gayatri.
Data manipulation, sir, like basically adding, updating, and deleting. When we do that, if it is correctly performing and correctly updating in the database records.
Okay. Data. Put mute. Echo coming. Data manipulations. Data manipulations. For example, addition, updation, and delete. Suppose we entered one record. Already 10 records are there. 10 plus 1, 11 records. Suppose we modified one record. Suppose we deleted one record. Existing records 10, we deleted one record. Next 9 records. See, addition, updation, and deletion operations. Next, data processing. Data processing. Processing the data. Can you give an example for data processing? Paramita Rai. Give an example for data processing.
Data processing.
For example, you suppose you have bank balance 50,000. You send if you send 10,000 amount to your friend account.
So that like in my account it will like 40,000.
40,000. After processing the data, you will get 40,000. See, it deducts 10,000 from your account and sends to your friend account. So that is processing, na?
Yes.
Next, data comparisons. Comparing two resources, two databases, or one database with Excel data, or front-end data with back-end data, etc. Next, one more thing, data backup. Data backup and recovery. Data backup and recovery operations. See, these are the important operations in database testing. Next, error handling. Error handling. What is error handling? Verifying how the system is handling user unauthorized or you can say invalid operations and providing meaningful error messages. See, suppose if you enter invalid data, example phone number field is there, if you try to enter alphabets, it has to reject and provide meaningful error message. Enter numeric values only, like meaningful error message. See, verifying how the system is handling user unauthorized operations. It has to provide meaningful error messages. Next, one more coverage, order of functionalities. Order of functionalities. What is order of functionalities? Verifying whether the system is providing correct order of functionalities or not. I will explain. Verifying whether the system is providing correct order of functionalities or not. Say, suppose Gmail operation is there. Sequence is first launching Gmail homepage, enter username, enter email address, next enter password, then sign in. Then you can get your email homepage. After that, you can view your mails or delete mails or compose mails and log out. Suppose when you launch the Gmail homepage, immediately it is providing your Gmail homepage. If you try to compose the mail, then it is asking email address and password. That is not correct order of functionalities. See, correct order of functionalities also one of the important tasks. See, these are the important coverages of functional testing. Just tell me the headlines, Silpa. Order of functionalities. Coverage of functional testing. Nearly 5 coverages we discussed. What are they? Just headlines enough.
Yeah, it's input domain coverage and output domain coverage and the database testing. In the database testing, we have a different type like data manipulation, data processing.
Okay.
Error handling and order of functionalities.
Okay. See, this is about overview of test automation. In this chapter, we discussed 5 topics. Paramita Rai, 5 topics. What are the 5 topics? In this first chapter, overview of test automation, general chapter.
Oh, it's like disadvantage of manual testing, advantages of automation testing, and disadvantages of automation testing, and overview.
Types of test tools.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, for business classification.
Types of test tools. 4th one, 5th one. Overview of functional testing.
Overview of functional testing.
Okay. See, 5 topics.